This is COVID and Chill. I am Neeko. This is Hannah. Hannah, good to see you. It's been forever, and honestly,
Yep.
we haven't talked in forever. So, how you been?
Um, Insane. So we went to school together, like graduated. I moved across the country to Florida. Um, Rent is cheaper here, fun fact, but barely. And tuition is more expensive because my husband's getting a master's degree and I just applied to start a master's degree. So we'll see.
That's pretty
Woohoo!
wild. Oh, by the way, I'm dressed as a pirate, and Hannah's a mermaid, and we just decided it'd be
Yeah.
kind of fun to dress up. There's no reason. It's just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is an elementary school teacher, and as parents know, the teachers are doing live streams or pre-recorded videos for all their lessons, and kids don't tune in all the time. So she decided to make things more entertaining by dressing in a different cosplay every day so that the kids would tune in to see what outfit she was wearing the next day. And I thought, hey, that sounds like fun too. So I thought, hey, if
I
people
think
on
it's
this podcast,
brilliant.
yeah, it's just fun. You said you had some mermaid earrings you wanted to show off.
Oh yeah, I'm a big bragger. So I have this whole mermaid costume. It's got the mermaid shirt. It's like my only costume I have. So I go all the way. It's got these little earrings. You probably cannot see them at
Are
all.
they?
They're
Oh, they're
little
tails.
fish
Yes,
tails.
they're little
Yep.
tails.
And then we've got the little pearls, of course, because mermaids. And then I've got the purple hair,
Yep.
the colorful headband, blah blah blah.
I feel
So
like
yeah,
I should be wearing earrings too for my pirate costume, but
you
I
should.
didn't. I didn't go that far. So, what's a news article you've seen recently that is either so bad it's funny or actually maybe important? It could go either way. The one that
Mm-hmm.
I saw recently is National Geographic. They started debunking a bunch of rumors because on Twitter there's been a lot of posting about the dolphins coming back to Venice.
Yeah.
The canals are clear, the swans are back, and there's another thing about like elephants getting drunk in tea fields. And National Geographic has basically debunked all of these and said, no, these are all false. This wasn't actually the city of Venice. This was another city there. So that I was a little bit sad because I've been to Venice and I wanted to go back with, dolphins. That would have been great.
Yeah.
So
That
that
would
was
be
a
cool.
sad article, but maybe one day Earth will be clean again. What about you? What have you seen in the news recently?
I mean, what haven't we seen, right? Um, so I love John Oliver because I think he ties in like enough humor to make us not want to jump off a cliff with actual facts and like he has citations and sources and things. And so it was really good to watch his take on things that's, do the social distancing, wash your hands, listen to actual experts like the CDC, WHO, and then just write it out and wait.
Let's move on to something a little fun. Memes. My favorite
Oh.
part about this whole situation has been the memes. Every single night before bed, I sit in bed and I just scroll through Facebook and I go through all the memes because they are just
Hmm.
lit. I love all of them. Have you had any favorites come up recently?
Yes. Because I'm a history nerd, I really like the one that talks about how, oh, we're gonna have the Roaring Twenties again, all over again.
Yeah.
And then it mentions, 1820, there's a plague, 1920, plague. Here we are, 2020, plague.
Yep.
So,
There's
yep.
that's a good one. There's a few variations. There's one that's it talks about all the big things that happened in the 20s,
Mm-hmm.
including like bars being shut down, which is happening right now. So
Yes,
kind of fun.
true.
My favorite one so far has been based on how people are reacting to this virus is probably the reason why the government hasn't told us about aliens.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's great.
That's a good one. Okay, so in this world, besides just like every night you're hanging out, you're looking at memes and you're social distancing like you should and just having a good laugh, what do you do to actually stay active at home? Like, what are
Hmm.
you, has your life changed that much, or was your personality before this similar enough to what it is now that it's not a big difference?
My life hasn't changed too much. I go to work twice a week now instead of 5 days a week, which is great. And I work from home the other 3 days, but that's really the only big change.
So you said you're more of an introvert. Life hasn't changed too much. I would consider myself an extrovert, but my wife is definitely introverted, and I have, since
Hmm.
knowing her all these years, become much and much more introverted, and I have seen the light and the beauty of just staying home and doing nothing. And before I was like, no, we got to go out, we got to get some people, we got to go to a park, we got to go on a hike. And now I'm like, no, sometimes it's just so nice to just be on a couch and just sit next to the person that you love. Okay, so entertainment, we've got that down, but how about physically, mentally, spiritually? Do you have any plans for mental, physical fitness?
Um, well, Pinterest has gotten a spike all of a sudden in different like workout routines and stuff, and I'm sure they're all over the internet too. But just of stuff you can do at home. Like it'll have a list of like you can do push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, to get all the cardio and strength training in, and then you just repeat 3 times. So I think that's probably something that we're gonna do starting this next week, to get in like that little bit of movement because it's so important. Especially like we both have mental illnesses and movement and physicality, like you have to have that. You also have to have vitamin D. So I've been opening the window curtains reluctantly because let there be light, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that isn't talked about a ton, but mental illness is incredibly important to think about during this time, even just as much as your physical health. For me, I don't have clinical depression, but I do definitely have seasonal depression. And now that maybe is
Hmm.
extending a little bit, maybe hence the idea for this podcast to just kind of reach out to people and talk and socialize a little bit more.
For
But
sure.
the Pinterest thing is something I'd never thought of. I'd never thought of using Pinterest for physical activity, which could help with mental illness just as much as physical. So that's
Oh
really
yeah,
cool. My thoughts, real quick, is just that we finally have a time to actually do nothing with each other. And that's maybe
true.
really important
Yeah.
because we're so distracted with work and just everything we do for entertainment, social media, that maybe being bored is one of the best things that's happened to our world in the last couple decades. Because when I was a
Hmm.
kid and I was bored, I would invent things. I would come up with stories, games, book ideas. I don't do that anymore because I'm never bored.
Yeah.
I'm always entertained or busy. So maybe being bored's okay. But what about you guys with mental?
So, yeah, there's a lot of good things that people can do at home, whether you're doing yoga or whether you're reading some sort of scriptures or whether you're just like taking time to yourself. Like today, I had a little spa at home where I was like, I'm gonna wash my hair, like, I'm gonna take care of myself and like my physical being because it's important and I don't do that enough. And then I got out and it was, 20 minutes before we started. So I like smeared weird colored makeup on my face and was like, I'm a mermaid now. But
Yeah, you should
it
have
is
seen the
important.
panic I was in before this as well. Lots of swear words were said. My wife was like, "Oh my gosh, what is going on? Is it that hard to do a podcast?" I was like, "I don't know. I've never done one before, I guess."
We're gonna find out. Yeah, it's always hard at first, is the answer to that question. Sometimes still after.
So it's interesting that you mentioned personal spa day because right before we went into quarantine, on my way home from work, I stopped at a Michael's Craft and I bought a
Mhm.
water feature. It was
I
like a
saw
little
that on
indoor
your
waterfall.
Facebook.
Oh my gosh. It has been so nice to just like turn off the TVs. We have that next to our couch, and then we light, a scented candle, and we just sit and listen to the water. I have never done that before, and thank you,
Yeah.
COVID.
Sounds glorious. We've been putting on the Monterey Bay Aquarium live feed cameras.
That sounds
Those have
awesome.
been great. I know there's a few different zoos and aquariums and stuff around the country that are doing that, and they're just on YouTube, so it's like free, it's easy. And I mean, watching fish has been proven to sort of like reduce anxiety levels. Same thing with water, like listening to that water is and so it's been great to just sort of have some jellyfish floating around in the background or sharks when we're feeling more excited or whatever.
That I, you've given me a couple of things I've never thought of, the Pinterest and now live feed of aquariums. So I'll
Guilty.
maybe I'll try to post that in the description of this as well because that sounds really cool. Just to have
Yeah.
that on. So.
We also have a phone soap. Actually, it's right here. I'm going to show it to people. Not a sponsor, but a friend of mine invented it and it's great. You can like charge your phone in it and you put it inside, UV light, ta-da, snap. And it
Wait,
takes
wait,
like
wait, hold on.
10.
So it's a UV cleanser, which I've seen for like toothbrushes, but this is for a phone, but it's
Yes.
also a wireless charger.
You can plug your charger into it. So there's
Oh,
a little hole right here that your
hmm.
charger can go through, and so you can charge your phone at the same time, which is super nice because it's kind of like a timeout almost. You need to clean your phone. There's no better way to do it. Like I've always used Clorox wipes and stuff, but you might as well use this. In addition, I've definitely been doubling up on my cleaning. And then you take sort of a 10-minute timeout. You don't have your phone. And if I can like force myself during that time to also not use like the PlayStation or the TV, then I can actually get some like mental calming down done. I can like sweep, which is like sort of a methodical task, or like do dishes, or even just like sit and think, which is really important.
Like you said, you got to clean your phone, you got to charge your phone, and you got to get away from your phone. So that's a really cool
Mm-hmm.
idea. Yeah, shoot me a link to that, and then
Yeah,
maybe
for
we'll
sure.
post a link to that in the comment or in the description as well, in case people are interested. Are they still selling it, by the way?
Oh yeah. I just looked yesterday, a few days ago, and it's not on Amazon anymore, so maybe they've sold out, but there are other similar ones, and they probably still have them on their website.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll put a
Yeah.
link to that in the description because that sounds like an awesome idea. So let's wrap things up because we've been going pretty long here. Is there
Cool.
anything you got you had a side plug for your little friend's device, but that was awesome, and I kind of want one. So if you want to
Surprise.
plug, I know you've got a podcast of your own.
So it's called Of Witches and Women, and basically what I've done is I've taken stories from different women and witches throughout history and mythology and just sort of looked into them with a new perspective and retold their stories. And kind of like Lore, which, is an amazing podcast, and he looks into different crazy things that have happened in the world and talks about it. So it's very similar. And I also try and link it to like things that are happening today or in the present. I think sometimes, so the season right now or the theme right now is ancient Greece. It's much more about like sort of the explaining of the universe and sort of getting in touch with your own self and nature. And I feel like there's a bit of a revival of that going on right now. And it's a little bit hard to do as we're all sort of self quarantining and being responsible. So, of Witches and Women, give it a listen. Maybe
Yeah,
it'll
that
help
sounds.
you, yeah, through the quarantine time. Of Witches and Women, it's on, Apple, Google Podcasts. It's also on YouTube. And like there are so many good podcasts out there to explore right now. I'm so excited that like you're starting something, and it's just a good time to look into sort of forms of educational entertainment that maybe we didn't have time for beforehand for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I wish people would stop panicking and
Mm,
realize that this is maybe an opportunity to do some of the things that you should have been doing all along. Just taking time for yourself and actually being with and caring for your family instead of just working or being busy and vicariously saying, or through proxy osmosis, whatever, saying that you're taking
right.
care of yourself and your family. Be bored for a bit, actually talk to each other. Maybe it's
Yeah.
going to be great. So this is COVID and chill. Yes, we live in a world with the COVID-19 virus, but let's just chill. So thanks for tuning in, Hannah. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Neeko. It's good to get in touch.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.